你好，10年级. Hello, Year 10. Um, Welcome to some online learning. What I thought we'd do, I just do a little narration where I go over the PowerPoint slides that we would normally be looking at in class, just so you get a better idea of the content there. So, do it on your own. You've got me sort of talking you through it. So, here's our big questions again. You can have a look at those. You can pause the video if you'd like to read those on your own. Let's just jump straight in. So, this unit's called All About Me. Our objective of this one, those characters just say 今天的目标, which just means today's objective, is describing people's appearances, right, and being able to ask and answer questions about what people look like, just basic descriptions of people. So let's jump in. Here's a gentleman, Guinness World Record holder, I believe, that we could use the word Gao to describe him. Yeah, G-A-O, first tone, Gao. Here's our character. That means tall. Yeah, Gao means tall. So if you're watching this, only watching the recording without doing the slides on your own, you can pause it, write these characters as we go. All right, Gao is tall. This gentleman, that's obviously the opposite. That's I, A-I, third tone. I. There's the character, so it's a complicated one. The thing to remember with I, it means short, but only in relation to a person's height. So if you're talking about how your Chinese lessons are too short, you wish they were all 4 hours long, that's not I. If you want to describe my hair as being short hair, that's also not I. All right, I is only short in regards to a person's height. Okay, so it's a quite specific word in Chinese. This gentleman, now just a word of or a disclaimer, I didn't choose the pictures for this particular PowerPoint, but he is quite shuai. Here's our character, shuai. Shuai means handsome, generally only used for a man. You wouldn't describe a woman as shuai. We've got some other words coming up to talk about women. Shuai, handsome for a man. This young lady, we've decided, is 漂亮. 漂亮. Here are the characters for that. 漂亮 means pretty. Yeah, 漂亮. Again, probably not a word that you'd use to describe a man. In Chinese, you wouldn't really describe a man as 漂亮. This one's just for women. There's Angelina, so we're going to describe her as 好看. 好看. Now, if you look at those characters, 好 and 看, you've seen both of those before. The 好 is like from 你好, just means good, and 看 is like from 看电影 or 看电视, that means to watch or see or look. So 好看 is literally good looking. So this is one we can use for a man or a woman. Remember that 帅, handsome, is for a man. 漂亮, beautiful, is for a woman. 好看 can be for either. Moving on. Okay, one for Harry Potter fans. This gentleman is Pang. Pang. Pang means fat. Now, interestingly, in Chinese culture, 一点胖, a little bit fat, is not really considered a problem. It's actually considered healthy. Pang, very fat. Okay, that's not so good. Pang, fat. Okay, this is a model, so obviously she is quite short. Some might argue too short. Short means thin. Now, interestingly, the radical for this character, let's get my cursor there. So that's this part on the outside. Sorry about my bar that came up. That's actually the radical for sickness. So it gives you an idea about Chinese attitudes towards being thin. If the radical for the character for thin is the radical for sickness, it's not something that they generally think is great. Too thin for the Chinese is not attractive or healthy. Anyway, the word is pronounced short. All right, did we remember how to say short, only short for a person's height? I, third tone. How about fat? Starts with P, pung. Pung. There's our character. My bar jumped up again, sorry about that. This gentleman is quite gao. Yes, our vampires are generally considered to be shuai. Shuai, remember, only for a man. Angelina, we used a word that can be used for both men and women to describe her. 好看. Sickness radical around the outside for 瘦. And a beautiful or cute woman, 漂亮. 漂亮. So a little bit of grammar. So it's all very well to know the words, but we have to be able to put them in sentences. And that's obviously what we speak. We don't speak in words necessarily. We should be speaking in sentences. So here's our basic pattern. And again, I want you to write this down. So pause the video if you need to when I get to the end of the slide. So our pattern is subject, and then you've got a choice of two characters there, and then a verb or an adjective. So the subject is simply who we're talking about, or what. Those two characters in there, the first one, this one here is bu, that makes it negative, and that one there is han, which means very. Okay, let's have a look at how we make those sentences. So we've got one sentence there with the two parts of that sentence that follow this pattern. All right, you recognize any of those characters? I kind of hope you do. Here's the pinyin. Now, 他不矮，他很高。他不矮，他很高。So what does that mean? Well, he isn't short, he's tall. Notice that they're slightly different from the English, the pattern there, because you don't have the Chinese word for is. If you remember the Chinese word for is shi. You might see that where he is Australian. 他是澳大利亚人. But when we're describing people, you don't need it. You just need he and then not or very and the adjective. So literally those two sentences there, that just says he not short, he very tall. And if you translate it that way, it sounds a bit kind of like poor. It sounds like poor English. But that's just the way that Chinese works. You don't need shi. Now, if you say 他是不矮, that just sounds really weird. 他不矮，他很高. All right, so it's subject, and then 不 or 很, and then the adjective. So in that sentence there, hopefully you recognize their characters. 他很高, which means he's tall. Right? Even though technically that means very, it's not very strong. It's a quite weak modifier. So if someone is really tall, you'd need to use another word there. 他真高 or 他非常高. So the 很 there, technically it means very, but it's just how you say it. For someone who's tall, 他很高. He's tall. All right. Another example there. His opinion. 他不胖. 他不胖. He isn't fat. Right? Remember, this sentence wouldn't necessarily mean that a person is thin. Okay, it just means they're not fat. I describe myself this way. I would say 我不胖. I'm not fat. I don't think I'm thin. I just mean I'm not fat. Okay, so and Chinese is the same there. All right, so if we had to make sentences about these pictures, so we've got on the left we've got the picture of the woman. Above that is 很. So the adjective that we used to describe her in the photo before was 瘦, which means thin. So how would we make a sentence about her? Well, we'd make it like that. 她很瘦. Remember our 她, the character is a bit different because she's all 她很瘦. You could also make a sentence that says 她很高, I think, because she's quite tall. Our gentleman on the right, what can you make a sentence with? Bu. I can think of at least a couple. The obvious one is that he's not tall. You could also say he's not fat. All right. But if you're going to make the sentence, he's not tall, you would just say 他不高. 他不高. He's not tall. So that's why I make those sentences very simple. Yeah, it's just subject and then 很 and then the adjective, or subject, 不 and the adjective. Very, very easy. So that's just sort of summing it up. All right, so the first thing we say is who or what. It's up here. And we follow that by 很 or 不 and then the verb adjective. Remember, we don't use sh. Okay, you're going to want to because that's what we do in English. Yeah? You say I am tall or he isn't short, but you don't need it in Chinese. Okay. Third dot point there, we often use 很, very, and the last dot point, if it's a negative sentence, you just use 不. Okay, so again, this is where you pause it, write these rules down in your book. Okay, a little guess who. So I recognise most of the people there. I don't know who the sumo guy is, but that's okay. You don't need to know who they are. All you need to do is listen to my Chinese and work out who I'm talking about. So, 猜是谁, that's the heading, just means guess who. Now there's an example there in the blue circle on the left. Those characters say 她很漂亮. And in the blue circle on the right, it says 她是三号, which literally means she's number 3. So I'm just going to come up with some sentences and see if you can work out who I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm looking at one of these pictures here, and I'm going to say two things about this guy. I'm going to say 他不高，他很矮. Yeah, they're my example sentences. 他不高，他很矮. And hopefully that's pretty obvious that I'm talking about 四号. Yeah, 他不高, he's not tall. 他很矮, he's very short. Okay, I'm just going to do one more. And that way you've got to guess. Let's say 他不高，他不矮，他很帅. So I said three things there. Right? 他不高，他不矮，他很帅. Hopefully you work out that is 五号. So I said he's not tall, he's not short, he's handsome. And that's old Davy Beckham. All right, let's move along. Okay, so on the last slide now. So this is a matching exercise. You've got to read the sentence and match it to a picture. If you want to do this the challenging way, then pause the video now. Pause the video, read the sentences yourself, look up any characters you don't know, match them to a picture. Okay, I'd encourage you to do that. And then what I'm going to do is read through and go through the answers with you. So to challenge yourself, pause the video now and do the exercise. Hopefully that's what you did. If you didn't, oh well, you're going to get the answer straight away. Okay, so let's read through. So sentence A says, 他不矮，他很高，他打篮球. I'll read that one more time. 他不矮，他很高，他打篮球. Hopefully remember this is one of our hobbies that we studied a while ago, 打篮球. So what does that whole sentence say? He's not short, he's very tall, he plays basketball. So obviously that's picture 5, that's Yao Ming. Let's have a look at the second one. 她很漂亮，我的男朋友很喜欢她. One more time. 她很漂亮，我的男朋友很喜欢她. Okay, first bit's pretty easy. 她很漂亮. She's very pretty. We know it's she because it's got the female radical. 我的 my 男朋友 nan boy 朋友 friend. So my boyfriend 很喜欢她 really likes her. Now, looking at the pictures, that could be picture 1, Cameron Diaz, or picture 4, Zhang Ziyi. Okay, so we might need to keep reading to work out which one it is, but one of those two. So let's hold that one and we'll go to the next sentence. 他在美国踢足球，他很帅. There's a couple of clues in there. We've got 美国, that's a country, and then we've got 踢足球, that's also a hobby. One more time. 他在美国踢足球，他很帅. So hopefully you've remembered 美国is America. So literally he in America, 踢足球, plays football. So he plays soccer. He plays soccer in America. He's very handsome. So I'm going to go with David Beckham for that one. This one we know straight away, right now, because it says 他们, and 他们 is they. So this is obviously picture 3. So let's read what it says. 他们不胖，他们也不瘦，他们很喜欢滑雪. So again, we've got a hobby repeated there, 滑雪. 他们不胖, they are not fat. 他们也不瘦,也 also. They also are not thin. So they're not fat or thin, they're kind of regular size. 他们很喜欢滑雪. They really like skiing. That's the guys in picture 3. Last one. 他是中国人，他很好看。她是中国人. She is Chinese. 她很好看. She's very good looking. So that one is 张子怡, which means this sentence here, 她很漂亮. That one is about Cameron Diaz. All right, guys, that'll do for one lesson, I think. Thanks for sticking around and watching it. Hope it was useful for you. Remember to practice those characters in your books. Make sure you've got the grammar rules written down, and I'll see you in the next video. So this is Dan Lao Shi saying 再见.